Okay, in our last segment, we left off with a couple of exceptions to attractiveness objectivity. So we're looking at a few exceptions where judgments of attraction can actually be subjective. So it's not the rule, it's the exception to the rule. And we looked at culture, we looked at strong likability. We're going to add a couple more to that list, starting here with reactance. So our judgment of others' attractiveness can also increase in situations where our chances of partnering up are getting more and more limited. In a fun and creative study, Jamie Pennebaker and his colleagues found that the girls all get prettier at closing time. Men rated women as more attractive the closer it got to closing time at bars. After systematically ruling out blood alcohol level, they theorized that this was because of reactance. Reactance is a psychological term for how people reassert themselves when a valued freedom is threatened. They tend to act in a way that makes them feel they have more freedom. This, the girls get prettier at closing time effect, was later only found to occur for patrons who were not in a committed relationship, which also supports reactance theory. Now, people differ on reactance, to what degree they tend to react when they feel that their freedom is threatened. And this brings us to questionnaire number 13. Your score on questionnaire number 13 is your reactance score. The mean for U.S. students is 45.29. 45.29. Now, if you ever have a kid who you suspect is really high on reactance, what kind of psychology do you think might work best on that child? If you guessed reverse psychology, that would be an interesting theory to test. Finally, one more exception to the objectivity of attraction. Remember how the girls get prettier at closing time effect was not found with those in a committed relationship? Being in love can blind us to the beauty of others. Social psychologists have found that the more people are in love with their partners, the less attracted they are to others of their sexual preference. This is called love blinders. So we've been talking about physical attractiveness and have established, other than these few exceptions, that it is usually objective. Now, the attraction bias is a powerful one. Attractive people are treated better. They tend to receive lesser sentences for crimes, make more money in the same jobs as their less attractive counterparts, etc. And this all begs the question, why are we such suckers for attraction? And the answer is threefold. First, functional MRIs, that's a brain scan, right, show that we receive the same pleasure viewing an attractive face as we do when viewing a beautiful sunset or a piece of art. Reward areas in the brain are activated by beautiful faces in the same way. So we receive direct rewards from attractive people. We also receive indirect awards when we associate with attractive people. The glitter of beauty can rub off on us, so to speak. In one study the authors call the Prince and the Frog study, a relatively unattractive guy was rated as significantly more attractive when he was believed to be dating a beautiful woman. There was a humorous episode of Seinfeld where George kept flashing a model's picture, claiming she was his deceased fiancée for this very purpose. Finally, social psychologists have found a strong and persistent halo effect. Those who are attractive are judged to be more intelligent, successful, happy, well-adjusted, confident, competent, and many other unrelated positive qualities. This is not logical, but it is found over and over again. The halo effect. It is no wonder attractive people are treated better when they are associated with so many unrelated positive traits and characteristics. Okay, besides those who work, hang out, or live near us, and those who are attractive, we tend to fall for those to whom we are repeatedly exposed. This is another surprising finding. Science found that the more often we see most anything, whether it is a face, a foreign word, a geometric shape, etc., the more we tend to like it. So mere exposure, when repeated, leads to attraction, even when the exposure is subliminal. In fact, the effect is even stronger when the exposure is subliminal. By the way, what other research do you remember from science? Recall from prior lectures the audience effect with cockroaches? Also, in research methods, we covered one of his studies showing that married couples look more alike over time. Science, pronounced to rhyme with science, but not spelled that way, as you can see, was my favorite living social psychologist until he died a couple of years ago. In another demonstration of the mere exposure effect, a study we'll call the student impersonator study, social psychologists took pictures of 4 average-looking females. Later, they had them attend a class 5, 10, and 15 times respectively, pretending that they were students. Later, other students in the class rated the photos for attractiveness. The results lined up like ducks in a row. The more classes the women attended, the more attractive students found them to be. This research is just too much fun.